What is up, y'all? Been a while. Had a lot going on. Fishing hasn't been great. Typical summertime fishing, but we're approaching deer season. Bow season is a couple weeks away. I'm super excited for it. Can't wait to sit in the tree stand, get that time in God's creation, and just chill and wait for old Big Daddy to come through. Hopefully, or old Mama gonna get the smackdown. But fill that freezer, whatever. As long as I'm slinging the arrow, sitting in the tree, chasing the deer, it's cool with me. So I figured I'd go over the 2020 setup, change the arrows up, went to a heavier arrow this year, trying to get better FOC and get some better penetration, just in case something happens and I hit him shoulder or whatever, I can still get good penetration. Because I'm only human. I don't make a perfect shot all the time, practice all the time, trying to get better. But you're in the woods, you're in a tree stand, stuff happens. You shoot from weird angles. So anything can happen. So this is the bow I'll be shooting this year. Finished up last year's season with it, and I love the way it shoots. It's a good flat shooting bow, smooth. It was definitely a change coming from an Elite. It's a totally different bow. It's better for in the stand though. I do love it. And it's a Hoyt Pro Defiant, set at 70 pounds, 28-inch draw. Not the fastest bow, but it shoots fast enough. You don't have to be shooting 90 pounds, 85 pounds to kill a deer. If you can do it, do it, by all means. But a lot of people have shoulder issues, or younger, or just smaller frame people, or even women. You can kill a deer with a 40-pound bow. No problem. People do it all the time. As long as you got the right arrow set up and all that. Don't overspine it. Don't fling a 550 grain arrow if you're only pulling a 25-inch draw on 40 pounds. It's just not going to work out. By the time that arrow gets to the deer going to be a mile away. So you got to set everything up right and make sure you're shooting good and accurate. But this is my setup. Got the Pro Defiant, and I love the colors on it. It's that tan with the carbon fiber limbs. Is a good looking bow. At least I like the way it looks. Shooting the Bee Stinger micro stabilizer is the 8-inch. Seems to balance the bow out pretty well. Shooting the Hoyt version of the Ultra Rest. Never had an issue with these. See a little trick I do with mine. Let's see if you can see it. You see how I've got the threads around? Man, get the camera angle. Come on. I've got threads tied around it. That will, I don't know if it's what it is, velvet. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But it just sticks on there, and over time, it will come off just from the arrows. So I'll tie it down there so I don't have to worry about that. Let's get a little tip for you. Shooting the HHA Optimizer Light single pin. May go to a 3-pin at some point and just get that bottom slider pin, just so I have two constants during the rut or something. Deer come in fast, and sometimes you don't have time to move that pin during that rut. Most of the time you can you get enough time sometimes, but man, when it's a grown buck, he ain't slowing down when he's chasing that tail. I hate to say it, he ain't gonna do it. So when he gets in the shooting lane, if you get him to stop, you gotta fling it then, Had to move my peep sight up, and I don't know if y'all could see it or not, but I did that myself. I'm pretty proud of myself on that. I enjoy doing my own work if I can. Some things I can't. I don't have a bow press. I don't know if you've looked them things up, but they are not cheap. I'm also shooting the Bomar nose button too, and I love it. Tied that in myself. It's a very good anchor point, especially with the facial hair. I'm sure a lot of y'all have that too, and it helps give you that anchor, because the corner of the mouth with the mustache, it gets kind of hard to anchor right there sometimes because the stash gets in the way. So that gives you that constant on your nose. So let's see, anything else? Oh yeah, the reason why I had to move my peep sight up is because I went from the trigger release on my wrist to a handheld again. I've done it before, and then I went back to the trigger, and I found myself kind of punching the trigger a little too much. And you shouldn't be doing that. You really should be letting the tension and just fall through with it. And with the trigger, it's just hard because you got your trigger finger on it, and you're just wanting to do that right there. So your follow through's not the best with it like it should be, and you're not getting quite as accurate. You can still shoot it as accurate, but to get those good long range shots, it's kind of hard to do with a trigger and be real smooth and shooting the way you should be. So I went to the release, a little 3-finger true ball, just the thumb. I didn't do a hinge because I'm not too confident in the hinge and my ability with the hinge, sitting in a tree stand, shooting at the angles that you have to sometimes. But you can still shoot a thumb release pretty close to a hinge. I'm sure y'all have watched other videos, but you let your back tension and you kind of roll your fingers and let it hit with the thumb. Keep it deep and just kind of roll back. Pull. See, that's the way you should shoot it. Don't punch it, because then you're going to catch yourself jerking, and then you're not going to be shooting as consistent as you can be. All right, so that's the bow. Let's see here. Set that down. Okay, so I was shooting a gold tip Hunter XT in a 400 with I was shooting a 66-pound bow, and I felt like it's right on that verge of needing that 340. So this year I made the switch, went to heavier arrow to get better FOC and better knockdown, because I did shoot a deer with those 400s last year, and they're not heavy enough, and the opposing shoulder stopped the arrow and the arrow backed out. I didn't get a good blood trail because I shoot the Swacker. Love them, have not had a single issue, not lost a deer with them, but the entry hole was smaller because the big blades open up on the inside for fresh cutting, and the exit hole is the bigger hole. But when you don't get that exit hole, you don't get a great blood trail, but still only ran like 30 yards. So I made the switch to the Easton full metal jackets in the 5mm with a 25 grain Easton insert that they got now with a 100 grain tip. And I'm trying out the new Gory Nocks and not the Nocturnals. Try something different, because I've had issues with the Nocturnals not wanting to shut off. And y'all know how to turn them off. You take another field tip or some kind of tool to push that up, and after a while it gets wore out in there from practicing, so it's hard for them to go off. That one's been on for like 4 days now. So I'm interested to try these, because these actually, you turn them off by this little button in there. So I'm going to be trying those out. I'm interested in see how those work. Still going to be shooting the Swackers, because I haven't had problems with them, and they keep good flights, and they're very accurate, and they're super close to shooting the field point as they can be. But the old arrows, they're coming in about 376, so it's on the light side too, in my opinion, a little too light. You still kill a deer, but when you get that kinetic energy, it falls a little bit faster than I wanted. So the new arrows, they should be hitting, when I weighed them at the shop, they're about 480-ish range, so should be close to that 500. and that should be a good range in what draw weight I'm pulling and what draw length I'm shooting. So I'm interested to see that, but I will have to tinker around and resight my sight end to shoot these heavier arrows, and I'll see you out there shooting. So go sight it in, and I'll see you. Appreciate you watching, and make sure you like and subscribe.